This episode of the Dungeoncast is brought to you by Hit Point Press and Humblewood Tales, live on Kickstarter. Humblewood Tales is a companion book by the Humblewood campaign setting for 5th edition, featuring expanded lore around the mystical tree city of Alderheart. Gather your party and embark on 5 new Humblewood adventures for levels 3 through 8, where you'll encounter pirate mercenaries, face off against a slime king, take on the Amaranthine Kren in a nightmarish dreamscape, and much more, with over 200 pages of new content that's fully compatible with all your 5e games, including pre-made characters, a full bestiary, myriads of new magic items, and more. There's plenty of thrills to be had for both new and seasoned Humblewood adventurers. Humblewood Tales is available as a book, box set, and a Kickstarter exclusive collector's edition. What tales will you tell? Check out Humblewood Tales today by visiting dc.humblewoodtales.com. The DC stands for Dungeoncast. Or click the link in the description below. This episode of the Dungeoncast was brought to you by Hit Point Press and Humblewood Tales, live on Kickstarter. Hey everybody, welcome to the Dungeoncast. I'm Brian.
And I'm William.
This is the podcast where we talk about everything Dungeons & Dragons. And today we are talking about Glasya.
1, 2, 3, 4.
To the Dungeoncast.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Will.
How you doing today?
William. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, that's fucking awesome. We want to talk about something right up front. Somebody sent something to the P.O. box.
They did.
And you know that shit gets me riled. So thank you. Thanks a lot to Amber. Said, hi, Brian. We hope you enjoy these Demio monster cards. They are designed with 5e in mind, but the monsters are from our award-winning digital tabletop game available for PC or VR. Enjoy, from Amber. Resolution, that's what it says at the bottom. But they're basically these big monster cards. Can you see them, people of YouTube?
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
They're fucking awesome. They've got like sick art on the front, which I find is cool for helping like DMs, especially newer ones.
Yeah, get across to their players.
Descriptive imagery.
Yeah, there we go.
Got the Elven Hound, challenge rating 2. We got the Unspoken, the Unseen, the Unheard, challenge rating 7. We got a giant slime, or a slimeling. It's purple. We got some stuff that says they're elven, but they look like orcs and they're badass. And we got a little goblin, flaming-haired goblin guy, Goblin Madoon, challenge rating 3. Anyway, they're great. They have like full stat blocks on the back with a little bit of lore. It looks like some flavor text. And then, you know, all the standard monster manual stuff like actions and features and all that. So thank you very much for these Demio monster
Indeed,
cards.
thank you very
Hopefully
much.
I'll get to use them maybe in like a patron-centric game that we plan on doing in the future.
Yeah.
We can kind of bust
Yeah.
these out.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Anyway, they're getting added to my arsenal, my repertoire of Dungeon Master things I can do. So thanks a lot.
Are you ready?
I'm ready
today's
for
episode?
Glasya.
All right, let's do it, because fiends come in all shapes and sizes.
They sure damn do.
Personalities and demeanors. Some are horrendous and some are beautiful, and they all have varying degrees of both horns and horniness levels.
Oh, jeez.
And some fiends, believe it or not, are even princesses.
Aw.
Today we're covering my favorite Disney princess, the daughter of Asmodeus himself, Glasya, Princess of Hell. But she isn't just a princess, she is also an archduke, the Archduke of Mephistophe, the 6th layer of the 9 hells to be precise, and she wishes to be much, much more. Of all the contenders to depose Asmodeus from his throne, I would put his daughter Glasya as a tie for top pick. She's as cunning and as ambitious as her father, but what she lacks is experience and raw power. Perhaps one day she will attain both.
Malbolge, the pelvic bone of the 9 hells. His bolge.
Yes, absolutely, Brian.
Let's get into that bulge.
Let's get into that bulge.
That bulge.
Glasya is the Lord of Malbolge, and daughter of Asmodeus and his late consort, Queen Bensosia, making her the Princess of the 9 Hells. She's also known as the Princess of the Night, the Queen of the Aaronis, and the Dark Prodigy. She is without a doubt one of the most powerful and influential Archdevils in the 9 Hells, both due to her born to station and her own abilities and achievements.
Interesting.
Okay. Glasya is depicted as a 9-foot
or 2.7 meters
tall, black-haired or red-haired figure, similar in form to a succubus. She's said to be well-built and a vision of unearthly beauty that remains undiminished by the small horns upon her brow, the large leathery wings extended from her back, and of course her forked tail, all giving away her diabolical origins.
May I say something, my darling? You are very well built. What a compliment.
Her skin is of a copper hue, itself not an extremely unusual trait for humanoids, but it is made prominent by its more metallic appearance. It almost shimmers or shines in the light. Ooh. She is often adorned with jewels, silk, and various finery of incredible expense.
Of course. Why wouldn't she be?
Yeah, she's the Princess of Hell.
Yeah.
Of all the Lords of the Nine Hell, Glasia is the most unpredictable. She flaunts the rules of tradition and bends the law without breaking it. She delights in shocking others by springing gambits that catch them unaware. Mortals who go up against overwhelming odds with an audacious plan attract her attention and can win her respect and patronage.
Yeah, if you're a mortal and you make it this far into hell, like, you're badass.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. I was thinking more on the mortal plane. Like if you're audacious, you can earn her respect.
That's fair. Yeah.
But also, if you got this far, you probably earned her respect.
Yeah, sure.
Glasia also has a reputation for capriciousness and a history of whimsy and mischief. She takes pride in her nonconformity and openly flouts the norms of hell at her leisure. Even before she became an archdevil, she was somewhat rebellious and defiant, moving between courts as the mood struck her. Despite her contrarian nature, Glasia is no less cruel than any other diabolical denizen of hell. Her particular style of torment often has a verbal element. She delightfully informs those she lures into hell of their impending doom and vividly describes the horrors awaiting those who cross her. She's quite She's quite skilled at this, as she is articulate, combining subtle mockery, verbal games, cruel teasing, and noble snobbishness to toy with those at her mercy before she grows bored and sends them off to be tortured. Her sadism extends to the physical, though she enjoys her torture to be slow and gradual. Glasia extracts much joy from watching her victims suffer cancerous disease, and as the torture continues, her lordship increases in openness, the expression of her twisted desires. Glasia's sense of aesthetics belie her inner corruption. As the Princess of Hell, she is equally parts lovely and loathsome. She has a disturbing love of beauty, sparing those she finds appealing and refraining from killing captured servants of good that she senses are open to her attempts at corrupting seduction.
Great.
How nice. Conversely, she is unable to tolerate the hideous appearance of mewling whimpers of the lemures.
I'm sure some of these tactics work on the other archdukes as well. Like,
yeah, I would say so.
Be like, don't kill me, I'm horny for you.
Well, we're going to get into it because she caused some crazy upheaval. So we're going to see some crazy shit that she did.
Let's do it.
She uses the titanic corpse of her predecessor, the Hag Countess, to create a domain of achingly pleasant palaces and gardens from a contrasting foundation of ugliness and decay, and makes some of her victims enthrallingly beautiful while turning others into suffering mockeries of life. So she's just got a thing about the contrast of hideous and beauty.
Yeah, and she really likes to put like nasty warts on people, it sounds like, and things like that.
She does. Ugh. She does. Like the realm that reflects her, Glasia's enchanting surface level disguises a truly rotten core.
Nice.
Much like her cruelty, Glasia's propensity for concocting sinister schemes is inherited from her father. She is an intelligent manipulator possessing in abundance the conniving guile needed to exist in hell. Her ambition may stem from her father as well, but her success was not gained by her relation to Asmodeus. She is hell's own criminal mastermind and has demonstrated a willingness to cross any line for power.
Oh, shit.
Glasia owes her continued survival to her ability to deflect suspicion and insulate herself from blame, typically by having her allies serve as scapegoats. Despite her uncaring demeanor, her sycophants often willingly sacrifice themselves for her. Glasia is a master of evoking sympathy even in those fighting her, and she uses seduction, deception, and even honesty to win allies for her cause. She prefers to talk rather than directly confront, make allies rather than more enemies, and is quick to show her attackers the error of their ways.
Oh my gosh, dude, she's terrifying.
Yeah, she's scary. Yeah, she's no joke.
No, don't hurt me, I'm so weak.
Yeah,
she's a fucking Palpatine.
Yeah, she's Palpatine.
Unlimited power.
Yeah, she's Palpatine for sure. Absolutely.
Cool.
But Glasia was not always an archduke. In fact, this is a much more recent development, at least by the timescale of the Immortal Devils. In her early days, before her rise, the reckoning, or even the ancient imprisonment of Levistus, the rebellious Glasia flitted between the courts of various archdevils at a whim. This fanciful troublemaking ended, however, when Bensozia, her mother, died. Though exactly what happened is shrouded in mystery and conspiracy, it ended with Levistus, lord of the fifth layer of hell, being sealed in his icy tomb, and Glasia becoming primarily Mamon's consort.
Oh no.
Something about the events that transpired during this time magnified the hatred that Bensozia had fostered in her daughter's heart towards her father, and it was at this point she became dedicated in supplanting him.
Nice, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Order.
Unfortunately for Glasia, Mamon was a self-indulgent and rather craven lord, and being his consort gave her little opportunities to rise in status outside of manipulating others to do her bidding. The individual archdevils standing in her way were too dangerous to try defeating and would be reluctant to move against Asmodeus, not wanting to risk their own domains or disrupt Hell's delicate pre-established power balance. Fortunately for Glasia, this uneasy peace was so unstable that only a few pulls would cause the entire thing to become undone.
Nice. Okay. I like Glasya, and I do not like Mammon.
Mammon sucks. Let's just start there. Mammon
He's
sucks.
the worst one.
And Glasia is pretty cool, but she's dirty, man.
Oh yeah. I mean, I like Levistus too. Like, because we're getting towards the end of it, so now I've got a full picture.
You got a much fuller picture. Yeah,
out.
Absolutely. Yeah, we should definitely let's do a ranking of the Archdevils at the end of the year.
Yeah, for sure. Mammon is at the bottom.
Well, we'll see if you maintain that position after we talk about the next one.
Okay, sure.
But yeah, agreed. Glasia appealed to the bitterness of Mammon's seneschal and her own bodyguard Folklore. We talked a little bit about him in the Mammon episode.
Okay.
Who resented his foolish and lazy master for leaving him to do all the actual work.
That's right, yeah.
Folklore was not only a powerful protector, but a reliable source of political information, and at Glasia's urging, he convinced Mammon that Beelzebul was planning on attacking his ally Mephistopheles. While Mammon wrestled with this information, and whether or not he should inform Mephistopheles, Glasia went to Moloch's court and convinced Moloch that Mephistopheles was planning to attack him, convincing him to inform Beelzebul of the rumors. Beelzebul started massing his armies in response, thus confirming the misinformation that Mammon had at that point given to Mephistopheles. And with a bit more subterfuge to get the Archdevils to war rather than simply posture, Hell's armies marched, and the reckoning began.
We're back in the fucking soaps, bro.
Yeah, we're absolutely.
This is it.
Yep.
If somebody could write this, that would be so fucking weird and awesome.
I would watch.
Yeah, it would be
amazing.
Fun, like a D&D adventure of pain.
Mm-hmm. Mephistopheles was joined and followed by Despater, Mammon, and Geryon. Beelzebul was joined and followed by Zariel, Belial, and Moloch. Both factions planned to challenge Asmodeus once each side defeated and absorbed the other's devil hordes, a full-scale rebellion.
Nice.
The conflict started in earnest when Zariel led a massive contingent thought to be aimed at demons to attack Dis instead. At the same time, Moloch and Belial led their armies to Stygia. Or is it Stygia? Stygia. Sorry, G's, man.
How many times?
G's are hard.
Yes,
G's
they
are
are.
hard. Sometimes they're soft, but they're also sometimes hard.
Yep, it's definitely GIF.
In response, Mephistopheles attacked Maladomini, which is where Beelzebul dwells, while Mammon lifted the siege on Dis. The counteroffense turned the tides of the battle, forcing Zariel to retreat and Beelzebul to call for reinforcements. And Maladomini, or Allodomini, depending on how you want to pronounce that, both forces sent massive legions to attack each other in an enormous battle. As their leaders started to see victory approaching and the deposition of Asmodeus at hand, However, Geryon had secretly remained loyal to the Lord of Nessus, Asmodeus. Together, they amassed the loyalty of the pit fiend commanders of both armies, who at Geryon's signal turned against their commanders and obliterated both armies.
Oh, man.
So Asmo was like, you thought you got me, huh?
Yeah, he's sitting there. He's like,
basically.
Got him.
Though Asmodeus emerged unscathed, the reckoning caused dramatic upheaval within Hell's hierarchy, and Glasya was certainly impacted by it. She was forbidden to continue consorting with Mammon and told in clear terms that if she wanted to maintain her prestigious position, she would have to start taking on some responsibilities.
Dude, stop fucking that. Well, he's a snake, right?
He wasn't. Before this, he was not. It's after this. His punishment for this whole shit is becoming a snake. Yeah.
You don't want to fuck this snake guy. He's not a snake. Oh, yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. Basically. Truth be told, I think this played out better than Asmo had even planned. I think he wanted to light a fire under Glasya's ass, and it worked better than he could have hoped. Mm-hmm. She started a rebellion without taking on any of the blame. She proved she could run circles around the other archdukes, and his own machinations pulled the rug out under everyone, securing his position more so than ever before. Nice. So Asmo's never been this secure.
Yeah.
I think he was damn proud of Glasya, and basically thought that she was ready for the next step at this point. I think he's like,
that's chill.
She's ready.
Here's
She's ready.
Trash. Go take it out.
Asmodeus began by naming Glasya the Queen of the Aaronis, though Glasya initially threw a fit when this happened. The Dark Eight, a group of elite pit fiend generals, were responsible for directing the Aaronis as a whole, and as their quote-unquote queen, she fell under their watchful scrutiny as well. Despite this lack of privacy, though, her new role had unexpected benefits. She enjoyed her duties, often spying on her charges while polymorphed to ensure that they were doing their jobs, and could personally visit the material plane in its many charms as she so chose.
Oh, wow.
The Dark Eight was, at the time, and also incredibly influential, so the Archdevils couldn't attack her without provoking their wrath. Glasya took advantage of her diplomatic skills during this time by recruiting a small army of her own.
The Dark Eight will eventually fight Spider-Man.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely.
What's left? They already did the Sinister Six.
Yeah, I know, right? It is here that Glasia established the first organized crime syndicate in the Hells, her own quote-unquote coin legions.
This sounds awesome.
Yeah, to help her gain power and wealth. Her followers operated like a thieves guild on the material plane, but unlike their mortal counterparts, I had the benefit of Glasia's knowledge of the law. Many of the Hell's Devils made the mistake of following traditions as if they were laws, despite only the laws having actual penalties for not following them. And Glasia exploited this fact for coin. She had her followers purchase souls from Aaronis on her behalf using counterfeit coins that she made by transmuting lead into gold. The law on minting coins only specifying the material before processing, the coins would eventually revert back to their base metal, but by that point, the souls and other resources would already be bought and then quickly sold at a marked up price.
That's fucked up. This is like some NFT shit.
Yeah, this is some crazy shit right here she's up to. Glasia's rise to Archduchess of Malbolge is a source of much speculation. Some mysterious force was behind the bizarre death of the Hag Countess, but it is unclear what exactly happened. Some say that Glasia was Malagard's murderer, her death being a brutal and shocking display of her power. On the other hand, it was also reported that Malagard's death was partially her own fault. The Hag Countess had spent years amassing souls for a ritual that would see her ascend to godhood, only for something to go horribly wrong in the process. The effort itself might have been flawed. She might have tried to abort the effort, or perhaps the process was meddled with.
So the Archdukes are not gods, but Asmodeus is a god?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
that's
yes.
just to double check. And this is the hag that her like rib cage.
We're going to
makes
get
up
into it right now,
Okay,
but
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. What is known is that the Hag Countess died a horrific death. First, she was racked by terrible spasms. She collapsed on the eternal slope of her domain, shrieking in agony, and for a moment it looked as if the Lord of the Six would simply roll off the lair and into the devouring void just past its edge. Then, the land too began to convulse with earthquakes, and the tunnels beneath the surface turned themselves inside out. The Hag Countess's most loyal lieutenants were crushed by falling rocks or swallowed up by the hungry earth. Then the infertile soil of Malbolge seized the Countess herself by the wrists and ankles, held her fast while she underwent a transformation even more shattering than the one destroying her land. The Hag Countess began to swell. First she grew as large as a giant, then as big as a titan. Shuddering and howling, she kept on growing, but not all of her grew at the same pace. Her skull ballooned in size, and her bones descended, bent, and finally popped out of her torn flesh, and exploding concussively from her chest, her ribs became weird arching pair of mountain ranges that encircled the lair like a looming cage. Meanwhile, her head bones continued to mushroom until they reached the size of a vast fortress.
Oof.
Clearly, some force was using the Hag Countess's own body as the foundation for a new, utterly different kind of terrain.
Yeah.
When the slopes of Malbolge buckled, shifted, and found a new level, the Hag Countess's innards were buried beneath it, forming a twisting maze of subterranean passageways. Her organs burst to the surface as lakes of bile and viscera, and her fingers became white towers. Each strand of her coarse gray hair converted itself into a greasy, hellish tree, and her teeth sank into the earth, later to be mined as an inexhaustible source of ivory. Though through it all, the Hag Countess screamed and screamed. Even after her death should have been a certainty, her tortured cries kept echoing throughout Malbolge.
Oh, yuck, man.
know.
Okay, that's horrific in a lot of different ways. That's great. I want to be a ranger tiefling that has Malbolge as the difficult terrain.
That's very interesting. I would definitely like to DM that. When the convulsions of the land began to wane and the Hag Countess's cries at last faded away, the lair's surviving inhabitants began to claw their way free of their earthen tombs and climb precariously from the lair's newly grown mountains. As they blinked in surprise at the new landscape, a golden litter floated up from the layers below. Winged devils held it aloft on straining shoulders, and snake-headed imps capered on its canopy. Lounging on silken pillows was the new ruler of Malbolge, Glasia, the cruel, beautiful daughter of Asmodeus.
Wow.
It is
intense.
Yeah. It is most likely that Asmodeus is responsible for Malagard's death. The Overlord of the Hells has the power to alter the forms of Archdevils as he wishes, though it isn't verified if he can just outright kill them. But whether or not Malagard died is itself debatable. Even if he didn't kill her, there is also the question of if Asmodeus had pre-planned the Hag Countess's death. He had given Glasia explicit permission to rule Malbolge, but it was undetermined whether the two had laid some of their previous grievances regarding Glasia's rebelliousness to rest first, or if she had marched in and gotten approval post-invasion.
I see.
So we know she showed up. We know Asmodeus gave her approval. We just don't know if it was something they agreed to beforehand or if he just acquiesced to her
Yeah, he
request.
just sort of went for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Some theories even suggest that Asmodeus' plans regarding Glasia's rise stretched as far back as the Reckoning. According to the theory, he had elevated the duplicitous Levistus over Geryon so as to keep the former lord's energy without having to give it to the Frozen Prince. The Hag Countess supposedly was only intended to be a placeholder, a seat-warmer archdevil to watch Malbolge until Asmodeus and Glasia came to an understanding, or perhaps until she was ready to take Malbolge for herself.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Was it Asmodeus' intent all along that Glasia should strike out on her own, or was Glasia rebellious and clever enough to successfully defy her father? Was Glasia's rise to power an unforeseen benefit of her machinations, or is it a great embarrassment to Asmodeus? Likely only the two of them know the truth. Almost everything known about Glasia is from rumors and postulation, and despite the efforts of spies and other foes from all angles, she maintained secrecy throughout her rise and became even less forthcoming after becoming Archduchess.
Wow, this is such a... Every single one of these Devil episodes has been like such a mind blow for me.
Yeah.
Like,
it's crazy shit, man.
it's just a lot, and it's so convoluted.
It is very. It is.
And then it always ends with
honestly,
these,
I'm streamlining
open
it.
questions.
I'm streamlining it for you. There's a lot of like counter stuff, evidential stuff,
conflicting lore.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, we come across that in regular stuff, but this lore is. The basics are complex, so yeah, it gets messy. There's 9 of these fools or whatever, right? So like they're all talking to each other, they're all having their own episode.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, all right,
Let's take a short
let's
rest.
do it.
Shout out to Demogorgon. Shout out to Demogorgon. Oh yeah. Shout out to Demogorgon. Shout out to Demogorgon. Oh yeah.
We've returned.
Indeed, we have.
Welcome home.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the podcast where we talk about everything Dungeons and Dragons, like I said in the beginning of the show.
True.
Yeah, it's true. Check out our Patreon, though. It's a cool place filled with stuff.
It is full of a lot of cool stuff.
Kind of stuff. Early episodes. You get them a week early now. That's it.
Live plays, lots of them. Lots of live plays.
Yeah.
Many adventures across many worlds.
Check out FBATs if you're in there. Lots of people have been watching FBATs coming into the Patreon, and they're as excited about it as we are. So
Indeed,
that's
indeed.
fucking awesome.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that people are watching that. For
Yeah,
sure.
no, people seem to really enjoy it. For those of you who
took a
don't know,
long-ass
it's
time to
essentially
make.
a D&D reimagining of Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, I'm the DM on that one. I took episodes of Batman the Animated Series and D&Dified them with 2 wonderful players, your special guest Jake and our good friend Steve. And yeah, that's it. They are being like led by old Batman to like go on like these Batman missions. So it's pretty fucking sweet. If I do say so
Absolutely.
myself, it's a comedy game,
Definitely.
comedy centric. Shall we go back to the Bolge?
Let's go back to the Bolge.
His Bolge.
Back to the Bolge.
Her Bolge? It's
Their-
her Bolge now.
It is her Bolge now.
She just calls it my Bolge, and everybody thinks it's called my
My
Bolge,
Bolge.
but it's just Bolge. You know what I mean?
Stupid.
No.
Glasia's realm of Mount Bolge, the smallest and least populated of the hells, has gone through many rulers over several millennia and has changed form several times with each change of office. In its original incarnation, Mount Bolge was a beautiful garden cherished by its ruler, and by repurposing the remains of the murdered Hag Countess, Glasia remade the realm into a dying parody of a verdant wilderness. At a glance, Glasia's realm is a fair place of alien beauty, but despair, the faint stench of rot, and venomous threats can be found upon closer inspection. The water is poisoned, the oozing plants are bloated, the trees are twisted or brown, if not dead, and the smell of flowers induces nightmares, and the fruit borne by flowers sometimes explode into caustic juices.
This is crazy. It's like, oh, it's so beautiful here. What's that smell, though?
Yeah, and then
They
suddenly
start
you're
looking.
like, oh my God. The entire realm is trapped in a near-death state, teetering on the brink of relief, but stuck in cancerous agony. And anyone that dies on its putrid surface has their bodies and souls absorbed into the landscape to experience similar unspeakable torment. So do not die here.
God.
Dying here is such a bad idea.
Right, because they like
Yeah,
just
they-
sort of make you stay. You're
Yeah.
dead, but you're alive. Sort of. There's like
You're
a weird
stuck here
in-between.
forever now. Yeah. Various devils can be found roaming Mount Bolge, including bearded devils, bone devils, chain devils, cambions, and twisted cast-offs transformed by a displeased Glasia. Massive fiendish vermin such as wasps, scorpions, centipedes, and spiders are also a common sight. For example, giant lice are usually seen in the Forest of Sighs, a densely packed series of greasy black grade trees thought to be the Countess's hair.
Oh, God.
Here, Glasia abandons those she is bored with to have their bodies pumped with nutrients while the trees drain their souls.
Oh, man.
Other natural, quote-unquote natural, features include ivory deposits made from the Countess's teeth, stony half-arches that loom over most of Malbolge made from her ribs, lakes of various nauseating poisons and that formed when the hag's organs burst and acid spewed out, and acid-spewing labyrinthine tunnels formed from her intestines. Some cities exist within Malbolge, but the seat of Glasia's power is Ossia, a dome-like palace fortress of lustrous white walls formed from the titanic skull of the Hag Countess.
Cool. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. The hollowed 5-story cranium is partially constructed from the various bones of the Hag Countess, those of other victims that displayed Glasia. It is lavishly furnished with Baroque decoration, filled with ominous music throughout its long passages, and adorned inside and out with unnerving, provocative statues. Where the hag's eye sockets would be are oval red glass windows capable of blasting lines of flame, and from which Glasia could be seen entertaining party guests. And this is very Dr. Evil, and I love it.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, fire the laser!
I was thinking this would be a crazy, like, Wizards of the Coast could make, like, the board game Operation, but with the hag.
Oh, yeah, they definitely could. That sounds gross, but they definitely could, yeah.
Like a really bad version of Operation.
Absolutely. Malbolge is the prison of the Nine Hells, and on this lair dwells its most infamous criminal, Glasia, the rebellious daughter of Asmodeus, who rules the place and oversees the punishments doled out to devils that stray from their assigned tasks. These lawbreakers are put on trial in Phlegethos, and if they are found guilty, they are dispatched to Malbolge to endure years of torment. That Glasia is both prison warden and the Nine Hells' most notorious criminal is evidence that in the infernal realms, crime pays as long as you avoid being convicted.
Yeah, that's true. Just don't get caught.
Yeah, in a circle around Ossia are 10 Towers of Ivory, the former fingers of the Hag Countess divided into 3 bone-segmented stories. The first is hollowed out and called the Tower of Pain, where Glasia's most dangerous enemies and criminals are tormented for aeons. The higher one goes, the more excruciating the torture becomes. The lower levels being kept for minor trespassers, and the top levels reserved for the truly damned. The other towers are guard posts and roosts for the Aaronis devils who let no prisoner escape. Near Ossia's center is an area called the Garden of Delights, an expansive, breathtaking refuge filled with plants from far across the multiverse. Unlike the facsimile of beauty found in the rest of Malbolge, the pristine garden is a refuge from horror and pain. No monsters lurk within, succubi soothe broken prisoners, and the vivid flowers dispel fears. After guests are brought here and put to ease, they are again returned to the regimens of torture, the entire place existing only to cruelly mock the prisoners and tease them with hope.
Yeah, that dichotomy that she embodies with, like, beauty and pleasure versus pain and despair. So there is a place in here where you could, like, heal
but it's just designed to make you suffer more.
Right, so you can get good enough to go back out there and eat shit.
Yep, exactly. Though Glasia's dying domain covers most of Malbolge, that is what it is, a cover. Along the edges of the realm, Malbolge's former surface peers through seemingly stable, but nonetheless shifting monoliths of jagged obsidian. Boulders and crags still lay below the rotten soil of the Sixth Hell, slicing and dissecting those that fall into such areas. Even the rock of Glasia's terminal realm is crumbling, and it seems Malbolge's decaying state is only temporary. In fact, 5th edition has suggested a return of Malbolge to its previous state under the Hag Countess, that of an infinitely large, steep sloped mountain. Boulders and other debris raining down from its heights in frequent avalanches. Some of the structures here are erected atop pillars of adamantine embedded in the mountain that can withstand the constant battering, though the platforms they support sway under the force of the onslaught.
Oh, shoot, man.
Whew.
I know, what a slog. There's a lot of stuff.
Residents of Malbolge, not dwelling in crumbling forts, have to live in caves carved into the mountainside and travel through tunnels and roof trenches to avoid being crushed by the boulders. Devils found guilty at trial are condemned to Malbolge for years, sometimes trapped in cages lowered down to the level of the adamantine pillars the swaying structures were built on. When the rock slides hit, those above are left unharmed, while the prisoners are grievously battered but never killed.
A lot of boulder crushing keeps coming up.
Yes, it really does. It really does.
The plane. So it's like to sort of show you the unstableness of it all because it's a body.
Maybe, absolutely.
Where are all these rocks coming from?
Well, I mean, the place was made of earth before.
Was rocks before.
Yes.
Let's like we haven't crushed anybody with a bunch of rocks yet. Let's do that.
Let's do that. Unlike most other Archdevils, Glasia has little interest in matters outside of the Nine Hells, although her endless machinations to expand her power still extend beyond her own plane. She focuses her efforts as a scheming manipulator, one of the best among the Archdevils, on the political developments within Hell. She serves as the warden of Montbolge, the prison system of the Nine Hells, and enjoys her sadistic duties of overseeing the punishments of law-breaking devils. Glasia also spends a great amount of her time roaming the more beautiful parts of her plane or indulging in luxury, but given her new responsibilities as Archduchess, she can no longer partake in her prior favorite pastime of personally seducing mortals into hell.
Right.
Instead, she has to relive such experiences vicariously, instructing her favored Aaronis to tempt targets of her choice, with self-righteous paladins and corruptible elder priests being her particular favorites. Captives that aren't powerful enough to be a threat to her are tortured inside her palace, where she can watch and participate at her whim.
No more time to play video games on the material plane.
Basically, yeah.
Gotta walk around.
So now she has to watch
people.
streamers in her downtime to get that gaming itch scratched. Glasia is believed to be Asmodeus' only child, but the circumstances of her birth are shrouded in mystery. Beings of godlike status rarely share their power with offspring, divine children being rare at best, and his plans for his daughter are unclear. Glasia's relationship with Asmodeus is certainly a great enigma, the terms father and daughter being insufficient for describing the bonds between two immortal entities of order and wickedness.
No, not again.
No, it's not like that.
Oh, okay.
It's just like when you're I've heard stories of like really elderly people, like you have a let's say a man in his like late 90s and then his son who's in his like late 70s.
Yeah.
And like their relationship is not like a father and son. It's more like two old friends.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah, like
they're both old as dirt.
To call them father and son doesn't really encapsulate the nature of the relationship at this point anymore.
I know, because they've lived together for like,
so long. Right. That it's similar in that these are immortal beings that have been around for millennia.
Right.
Like, so
they're
like
homies also.
Not that they're homies, but that to call them father and daughter is an insufficient mean of describing.
They're more familiar than that. Even.
Yeah, to a certain degree, yeah. The question of why he would even choose to have a child still lingers, with one theory being that Asmodeus is the ruler of hell just as much as one of its many prisoners. Surrounded as he is on all sides by beings of god-level power filled with anger towards him, perhaps he seeded Glasia in the hopes that she could act as a proxy on the other planes. Some sages speculate that Glasia isn't even his daughter and that she is really an entity of great power and unknown origin that he adopted as his own.
That is really fucking cool. Yeah. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It could be. Glasia isn't above using her familiar relation to Asmodeus as a shield to protect herself from retaliation, but the two have a long and volatile history. In the past, Glasia often consorted with his enemies and openly resisted his efforts to control her, and Asmodeus' moves to make her serve in his court only made her bored and dissatisfied.
See, here's the thing, and I like that last bit of lore about those sages thinking that she's just some other entity that was adopted of this place. Is like, where's her ambition here? It's just forced on her.
No, her ambition is strong, man.
Okay, because everybody else seems like, she's like, oh, I'm bored of this shit. But
well, yeah, so when she was younger, she mostly got bored by Asmodeus trying to make her do things.
Yeah.
Instead, he was like, you know what? You go do your own thing. You go down. I'm putting you with Mammon, but like you're not my problem anymore.
Yeah.
And then from there, she's like, I'll destabilize hell and rise to power.
Okay.
And then he was like, that's what I wanted. All right.
That's a good shit.
Yeah, I'm giving you a plane of existence
Here you
now.
go, girl.
Magnificent.
Let me blow up this hag.
Yeah, basically. So where was I? Oh, he gave his blessing when she took over Montbolge, but it's possible that he reasoned that with responsibility over hell, her ambitions would be kept in check. Despite not always seeing eye to eye and Glasia wishing to usurp him, she still generally supported her father since the two share a similar outlook and methodology. Okay. So she fucking hates him. She wants to take over, but man, does she respect the way he does things.
Right, because he's so badass. And
yeah,
you know
absolutely.
It's the way to roll.
Exactly. Glasia's mother, Bensozia, viewed her daughter as a tool to carry her resentment and spite. Asmodeus had essentially taken his consort as a trophy, and the mastermind of the Hells failed to anticipate the depths of this loathing. Believing that Glasia could do what she couldn't, kill Asmodeus, she nursed her daughter on poisonous hate, taught her seduction and intrigue, and filled her empty heart with murderous intent.
Right on.
The seed of hate Bensozia planted eventually grew until replacing her father became Glasia's dominating desire.
I see. All
Most other Archdevils despise Glasia for her suspected role in their downfall during the Reckoning, which it was totally her fault.
100%.
100%.
Legitimate.
But fear her at the same time, as they should. To challenge her could be construed as a move against Asmodeus, who they theorize could be using her to consolidate his power. He probably is. And it's difficult to discern who the target of her own ambition is. They struggle to place spies in her court, and she aggressively recruits their powerful servants who have been sidelined for ambition. High-ranking devils that have fallen out of favor with their respective lords will happily scheme against them. Beelzebul and Moloch, the former rulers of Malebolge, in particular, vehemently detest Glasia. A majority of assassins sent at Glasia are from Beelzebul, for the princess once attempted to supplant him as ruler of Melodumini as well. Moloch, though he rejoiced at Malagar's death, was also infuriated by Glasia's rule over his former dominion, a clear act of nepotism by Asmodeus in his eyes.
It's all nepotism.
Yeah.
It's all nepotism all the way down.
I know. The ever-cautious Despater was sent into paranoia when Glasia killed the Hag Countess, seemingly with her father in on the scheme, and began taking even more defensive measures in response. As we know, Despater's like, he doesn't come out of his tower.
Yeah,
That's kind of his thing, yeah. Glasia harbors a special hatred for Levisis, who she has stated her intent to kill for an ancient crime regarding the death of her mother. She has been described as being obsessed with him, going between pining misery and murderous rage, though since Levisis is nigh untouchable in his icy prison, her actual claims are considered posturing. After becoming Archduchess, she used her intelligence network of devils to gather information on her nemesis, hoping to obtain enough evidence that her father would grant her approval to destroy him for good, to no avail. The only Archduke that actually likes Glasia is Fierna, another Archdevil's daughter and fellow female Archduke. Despite rumors that Glasia killed Naomi, Fierna's mother, who had a distaste for Glasia when she was still alive, Fierna holds only besotted admiration for Glasia and can't stop talking about her when the subject arises.
That is very interesting. Fierna was up to no good all the time, like all the other Archdevils.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
She's the daughter.
She's
mother.
the mom lover daughter.
Mom lover daughter.
Oh God, I hate it. Yes, she is.
Okay.
Moving on.
I'm keeping track. I'm
Yeah,
logging it all
absolutely.
away.
Yeah. Glasia used to be Mamon's consort, but their true feelings for each other are not clear. He is still bitter and wants payback against her for manipulating him in the Reckoning, and is frightened by her ascension. Yet he, quote-unquote, seeks to have her at his feet when he rules hell.
Gross.
Yeah, he's gross. Glasia hates the squalid slum of Mineros, but yet, after taking Malebolge, has been manipulating some of his dukes to try and take his domain for herself. So she hates his realm, but she wants it for herself? I don't know. Maybe his realm is kind of shitty because he makes it shitty. So maybe she's like, there's so much potential here and he's squandering it.
I could make half of it beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. It is possible Asmodeus might have assigned Glasia to Mamon, or she might have went to him either out of actual passion or just to stir up trouble for the Archdevils. Though either way, Asmodeus put an end to the relationship after the Reckoning. There are rumors since Glasia became Archduchess that they have rekindled their affair, but others claim that Glasia resents the feckless serpent for not fighting for their love. So pick your poison, it could be any of those things.
Gross.
Finally, there is the Archduke Mephistophe, my favorite Archduke, who, despite loudly announcing his intent to replace Asmodeus, could be said to be a family member of Glasia since he is somewhat of a godfather to her. I'm sure we will learn more of this in his episode.
Right.
I'm getting a very Dr. Doom sense from Mephistopheles.
Okay, no wonder you like him.
Adopting his arch nemesis daughter as his own.
Right.
Yeah, it's very Dr. Doom. And yes, Asmodeus is more like Dr. Doom than Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles is more like Vegeta.
What like a chip, like a bartering chip in your corner, you know?
Oh yeah,
to
absolutely,
have, like,
absolutely. That's why Dr. Doom did it.
So good.
Yeah,
So good.
absolutely. But no, we'll get to Mephistopheles, but he's very much the Vegeta to Asmodeus' Goku, and it is their dynamic 100%.
So he literally just never wins a fight ever.
Yeah, he's always one step behind, but almost as good every step of the way. And also has anger problems.
Let my man Jeets win a fucking fight,
I know,
Toriyama.
seriously.
God damn it.
God damn it, Toriyama.
It's just like I know the future. I know
Yeah.
the future. And it's
Every
Vegeta
episode's the
loses-
same. Vegeta loses. Yeah. Moving on.
All right.
Glasia has few figures of note serving her since most of Malebolge's original dukes and other archdevils retreated to Melodumini, home of their true master Beelzebul. Or Beelzebul. Beelzebul? We'll get to it. And Glasia only accepted the Hag's most talented lackeys after sufficient groveling. Some tried to avenge the death of their former master, and for their insubordination were confined to the upper reaches of the Tower of Pain and subjected to a wide variety of tortures. One such servant was named Bloodcurdle. This was the hag's favorite nightmare.
Oh, like a horse.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Who pretended to submit to Glasya before tossing her into a lake of bile.
Ah, got him!
So hats off to Bloodcurdle. You're a badass, dude.
Bloodcurdle, the real Archduke of Hell.
Absolutely. One of the only archdukes left was Tartak, former legate of Moloch, who has abandoned Beelzebub to become Glasya's chief lieutenant and high marshal. The sadistic chamberlain is an expert in intrigue, and for granting her his wisdom and experience, Glasya grants him great power. Tartak was once infamous for disloyalty, doing little to stop coups or advice against bad decisions. But Glasya has changed his perspective.
I see.
He truly believes Glasya has the potential to take over Hell. Glasya sees in him a kindred spirit, an inestimable valuable aid, and gives him the recognition he feels he never received.
I feel like there's always somebody in one of the rings that's like a huge, like you're going to be the leader of Hell one day. So I'm going to roll with you from here out.
Exactly. Yes. And to be fair, all the archdukes really, if you're in their presence, they're going to sell you on it. Because they got power, they got charisma, they got a plane of existence. You think they're lined up. They're lined up to do it, but they're really not.
Right,
they're really not.
Because the next ring, they've got all the same stuff.
Exactly.
Now they're going to sell you.
Yeah.
It's what's the end of this fight?
Again, if I were to give any one of them an actual shot, it would be a tie between Glasia and Mephistophe.
Sure.
Another noble of Glasya's court is Bellath, the Prince of Imps, who, after a cursory interrogation, Glasya quickly employed. The Princess of Hell sought to establish her rule without being dependent on her father's authority, and so saw value in Bellath's plane-spanning spy network. Glasya gave him permission for him to work for other Archdevils, despite being her spy master and saboteur. It is rumored that Bellath occasionally reports on Glasya's activities to Asmodeus, although not even Glasya can blame him for doing so. I mean, he's literally the God King of Hell. What are you tell him no? That's just the price of doing business, really.
Look at all the people that go against Asmo. What happens then?
They all die or get transformed.
They get fucking reckoned.
Yeah, they get reckoned. They get fucking reckoned. So, yeah.
That's with a W.
Absolutely.
Reckoned.
That's with a W. That's good. I love that. We need an Asmo shirt where it's just whoa, this is get reckoned.
Get reckoned.
Absolutely.
So solid.
We need it.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Someone make it happen, please. Glasya's fortress of Asia has special chambers allowing devils of any variety to dwell there comfortably, but she has preference for certain types. The nobles of her court, of which succubi are also members, are the beautiful Aaronis and horrifying corruption devils to whom she shows distinct favoritism. Her palace is filled with elite guards and war devils, and she has various other servants, devils, and otherwise, that leap to do her bidding and are willing to die to protect her. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of the archdevils have a bunch of loyal followers and
legions.
Yeah, but very few of them are as a doer, or what's it called? Not do or die. Dedicated. Yeah, ride or die. They're very few are ride or die as her people. She has an aura about her that can turn people zealous.
Yeah, sure, because she's so nice, but she's so nasty.
And
she gets that fucking cash.
She does.
She's hanging out with my mom.
She was.
She's getting that fucking cash.
Yeah, she was.
Still is.
I mean, she still probably is, but she also was.
Yeah.
Believed to have, out of all her servants, the most belligerent and reluctant are the devils known as the Calibans. Believed to have arisen from the carcass of the Hag Countess herself, each of the putrid creatures harbors an innate hatred towards Glasya, even outright attacking her with startling frequency. Okay. So she does have to deal with these guys.
She just has to fucking fight people out of her house?
Yeah, they just rise out of the ground and they're just around. You just never know when they're in attack.
The hatred of the Hag. Why doesn't... You can't get that handled? You can't do something about that? Why just deal with it? Maybe it just isn't that big of a deal to her.
I think it's annoying, and I think it's kind of an embarrassment, but there's not much she can do about it. Because the Hag Countess was also an archdevil, and I don't think she's really actually dead.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, I think the Calibans are kind of her consciousness, forming.
Yeah, her hatred is becoming, how if you believe enough in something that it starts to manifest in TNT.
Yeah, I think she's essentially, much like Levistus, she's entombed.
Oh yeah, totally.
She's
Just
entombed to the
way
layer.
different though. Just
very different.
out
Yes,
operation style.
absolutely. Yeah, and
See
so her
all the
consciousness is formed in these Calibans. To make Glasia's workload more onerous and to serve as an ironic form of punishment, Asmodeus decreed that Glasia could entice souls into the Nine Hells only through delving into matters of contracts, bargains, and legalities. She and her agents offer moral petitioners advice on how to manipulate or circumvent the law or to identify escape clauses, all to ensure that whatever they desire can be obtained without violating a legal precedent.
I'm stuck on the last thing. Because if you go, you know how they have that meeting? What's that meeting? The big meeting where they break Levistus out of his...
I forget what it's called too, but he brings all of them to Nessus.
I bet Glasya every time was like, can we make those things stop coming out of the ground? Please?
Nope.
I'd be much more efficient if we just... No, they need to be there because of X, Y, and Z. The contract.
See, we don't have the resources.
It's that one bullshit thing at work that like you don't need to be doing, but your boss fucking makes you do that
exactly.
shit.
Yes, that's very much what the Calibans are. Her petitioners want power, money, and love, but they want to come by it within the bounds of the law. An ambitious prince who is entitled by law to inherit his parents' wealth, but doesn't want to murder them, might ask for help, and Glasia's agents provide it by arranging for them to die in an accident.
Okay.
I mean,
I guess
you're one step removed from hiring a hitman, I guess.
You're one step removed from actually. You just broke the law. Like you did it anyway. I just didn't want to make it seem like I.
Well, no one wrote a law that I couldn't consort with devils. A notable portion of Glasia's petitioners are souls who have pledged themselves to another Lord of the Nine and want out of that bargain.
Sure.
Her minions scour every contract struck with another devil and approach mortals whose contracts contain loopholes. So she's looking for these peeps.
I mean, that's basically what we did in Super Quest Saga. Is we took our existing contract and re-upped it to another guy.
Yes,
exactly
right.
Fuck that guy.
Right.
We're with you now.
Exactly. Which was also a bad idea.
Yes, it is. Check out Super Quest Saga. We go to
They
hell.
make deals with devils, and it's a bad idea.
It's always a bad idea. What choice did we have?
What choice did you have? True. Moving on. In return for giving their souls to her instead, such individuals learn how to break the contract and negate whatever price the contract says they must pay. So, whatever it is, she must be offering them a better deal or tricking them into thinking they're getting a better deal. It's one of the two.
Right, like NFTs.
For her, like, half the joy is just stealing the souls from other peeps. Like, that's got to be a joy for her because she hates all of them.
I mean, lining your pockets with souls, everybody's trying to do that.
Yeah. Despite her lacking personal power, the number of cults devoted to Glasia are countless. She has a large following of mortals even before her rise to Archdevilldom, which eventually came to rival the numbers of even the most worshipped Lord of Hell.
That's a lot.
Ironically, even though she was the child of an embodiment of law, part of Glasia's appeal came from that she symbolized rebellion against oppression. Glasia is a dissenter within aristocracy, simultaneously an outsider and born into the system. Yet despite every obstacle around her, manages to prevail. Her cults emerge and prosper in places of civilization where order and tradition are paramount because she presents a way for the persecuted, exploited, downtrodden, her most ardent supporters, and others that felt trapped by familiar social or cultural circumstances to escape the rules and even rise above them.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do appreciate
She's very
that.
tempting because of that reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Grant you some familiarity.
All devils desire souls, since mortal souls have power, and Glasia is no exception. Every archdevil can derive a different benefit from souls. Mephistopheles can use them to create hellfire, for example. It's unclear what Glasia actually wants with the souls. Most of all, she's like, wait, you guys actually do stuff with these?
She just has like a huge bag of souls. Like, I don't know. I just thought we just kept them.
That's just what we did. Most of Mabulje's souls shells are marched off to pits filled with wriggling worms and devour their victims before the tattered remains crawl out as lemurs. After the process is complete, however, the pain devils overseeing the process simply drive them off to wander Mabulje. Glasia only seems to use souls enslaved to Malagard as subjects for twisted experiments in beauty and hideousness, and nothing else.
Okay.
So she's not actually doing anything with these. Maybe she just hasn't reached
them.
No, she's not. She's throwing them away.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, she's just throwing them away. And so, like, I'm thinking, she is still young for an archdevil. Maybe she hasn't reached that level of experience of, like, she's like, you know what? I've been wasting resources. I should be doing something with this. I just didn't want to before, but now I'm realizing, like, no, it's best that I do this.
Some untapped potential.
Yeah, she hasn't reached that level of self-reflection yet, maybe.
Gotcha.
As an Archduke of the Nine Hells, Glasia is on the power level of a demon lord or minor deity. Simply drawing close to Glasia is dangerous since she gives off an intoxicating aura that leaves those anywhere near her weakened and confused. While in this state, a simple glare of displeasure from Glasia can send the victim into unconsciousness and possibly even cause death. You displease me. Even disregarding her presence, Glasia can cause fear through her words alone, sending enemies running in fear with detailed descriptions of their future torment. She has various powers of manipulation, including charm, dominate and hold monster spells, the ability to polymorph, and illusion-creating capabilities.
Tell me, mortal, have you ever heard of the Blood Eagle?
Oh god. Glasia rarely engages in direct combat against her foes, teleporting away from dangerous situations and refusing to toy with larger groups. She's like, there's too many of you, I'm not dealing with you. When she deigns to do battle, she uses her mental abilities to control a particular dangerous enemy while maneuvering herself. So she takes over one of your guys.
Yeah, so if there's too many, that tactic might not be as effective.
Precisely.
Okay.
If not simply flying, she can easily teleport herself and her thralls throughout the battlefield. After luring in her foes with promises of pleasure, Glasia can embrace her foes with a touch that drains the body, mind, and soul. Her caress steals the victim's willpower and better judgment away and converts it into life force for herself, while also infecting them with a wasting disease that causes the flesh to slough from their bones.
Great. Yum.
Glasia can also cast Finger of Death and Contagion as spell-like abilities, and bite her victims to infect them with a poison that has to be neutralized, healed, or delayed before they can recover.
Finger of Death.
Yeah. Like all Archdevils, Glasia has the ability to regenerate over time, but unlike her peers, regeneration for her continues to happen even if she is killed. This is possibly due to her relationship with Asmodeus, potentially indicating that she has an innate closeness to godhood deeper than that of the other Archdevils.
I see. Demigod style.
Right. Her prowess in both combat and magic is said to have been significantly enhanced following her rise to power as the Lord of the Six. It is rumored she stole some of her power from the Hag Countess, although she's still among the weakest of the Archdevils.
Yeah, because Asmodeus has to grant the power, basically. So maybe
She's just splitting it with the hag that was there before.
Right, because she's not dead.
Right.
Exactly, yeah. Glasia is known to wield a short sword that combines the properties of speed and disease. The blade, similar in effect to a dagger of venom, is coated in a strength-sapping devil's blood. Glasia wears jewelry and finery worth several thousand gold pieces, and most carry defensive magical enchantments similar to a cloak of resistance, ring of protection, or ring of invisibility.
That's cool. Whose blood is on this dagger?
Whatever random dude that she stabbed on her way out. Probably.
Well, it's devil's blood. So
yeah, there's a lot of devils everywhere she goes.
That's true. Just
like, Bob, it's your turn.
Maybe all the devil blood is the same pool. Comes from the same pool.
I mean, she lives on Malbolge, where half the monsters there are related to disease, blood, or bile. Yeah. So I'm sure it's one of theirs.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions about I was going to say Glasia.
No, I love Gladys.
Gladys, the best Archdevil.
The lunch lady, Archdevil.
All right, well then let's get ready for a long rest.
All right.
Grandma, you hear that? It's footsteps.
Oh, yeah, yes, I do.
I know those light, gentle feet anywhere.
Yes. Suggestible Jeff.
Suggestible Jeff.
So suggestible.
Jeff, is that you?
Jeff,
Jeff, we're so lonely.
did you bring my chicken nuggies?
Jeff!
Yeah, guys, I brought your chicken nuggies. I got them right here.
Oh, sweet. Jeff, I love you, bro. You're just so goddamn suggestible.
Jeff, you truly are the best. Have you been spreading the word about the Dungeoncast, Jeff?
Yeah, of course I have. A lot of the guys are starting to listen.
Oh, excellent. Are they enjoying it?
Yeah, they're having a great time. There's a lot of chemistry between the hosts.
There really is, isn't there?
You're super good at the chemistry. Yeah, anyway.
Phenomenal.
What was the last episode about, Jeff?
Yeah, it was like a Gem Dragons episode. Yeah, the little Build a Dungeon thing.
Oh, yeah, they've been doing a lot of Gem Dragon stuff this year.
I really like all the episodes about the, like the Year of the Fiend ones. I've been binging it, based off your suggestion, of course.
Yes, so
Jeff,
suggestible.
You are so lovely. We love you,
so
Jeff.
suggestible.
You're our favorite guard. Aside from
Suggestible boy.
your special guest guard.
Yeah,
He's also cool.
I love you guys too. You're my favorite prisoners.
No.
Oh, he's really
Jeff,
great.
you should tell us his name.
Yes, please.
We really should.
I don't know, man. He told me that he doesn't really want to tell you guys.
But I'm suggesting it.
I'm also suggesting it, Jeff. We strongly suggest you tell us the name of the special guest guard.
Okay. It's Jake. His name is Jake.
Oh, I had a feeling about that
makes
one.
sense.
It all adds up.
Now, is that with a J or G? Because there's been a lot of speculation about how to say that letter.
Yes, there's been a lot.
Just in general.
It's very disputed.
Yeah, it's with a J.
And your name is also with a J? Jeff? Suggestible Jeff?
Yeah.
So, Jeff, I got a question for you. Why, it's awfully lonely down here. We don't really have any, cell neighbors. Why are we all alone down here?
I almost forgot that's why we were gonna...
That's the main thing we want to talk to him about next.
Jeff, we don't got no neighbors, man.
It's lonely down here.
It's lonely, Jeff. You're our... We've got a couple friends. I was gonna call you our only friend, but we've got at least one more.
Yeah, you're not that special.
The guards, from what I've heard from the warden and everything, there's some mysterious circumstances surrounding your arrest. They're not exactly sure what you did, but, the cops were gonna let you go, and then a little while after, like maybe an hour or so, they realized that they'd made a mistake, and they came back to arrest you.
Yeah, we were pretty far away from the cops, and then they came.
Yeah,
they came
they
to
were
get
not
us.
nearly as suggestible as you.
No. Yeah, and then we got arrested, and that was. So they think it was weird. It was a weird thing. We just thought, being the honest people we are, we just thought that they let us go. And I don't know what this mistake thing was about.
Yeah, I feel like we really didn't do anything wrong. Is there any way you could get us into the general population up there?
Yeah, because they told us there was trespassing, but I think we were supposed to be there. It's all very strange, very gray area stuff, right, Jeff? But yeah, can you get us up there, Jeff? Can you get us into some new cells? But we will need to stay next to each other, or maybe even in the same cell.
We can't be apart.
Yeah, I don't know. I could try. It'll be kind of tough. They specifically put you down here.
Well, maybe you could suggest it to them.
Yeah, Jeff. Why don't you take this suggestion from us and pass it right along?
Yeah.
And if you can't get us up there, maybe you can get us some neighbors.
Down here.
It's a little bit like a dungeon down here, isn't it, Gromley?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that was a weird laugh, but all right. I'll see what I can do.
Oh, and bring some more chicken nuggies.
God. And so it begins.
Again.
Shout out to Demogorgon. Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody, welcome to The Long Rest. This is the part of the show at the end where we rest for long. Let's do that shit.
Yeah, let's do it.
You ready, Will?
I'm ready.
Are you ready, Will?
I'm ready.
Are you ready, Will?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
All right.
We're resting.
Okay.
Sit down. You're stressing me out.
No, I
This
gotta
is the
stay
long
standing. My
rest.
back hurts. I gotta stand up.
He's resting his back. No, this is good. Some people rest standing up.
They do,
Some
like me.
people poop standing up.
Whoa.
I worked at a Lowe's.
Whoa.
I've seen it.
Okay.
Well, I didn't see someone do it, but like they send you into the bathroom sometimes to figure out what happened.
Okay.
And like they had to have been standing up.
Okay. I believe
It's the
you.
only way.
I believe you.
How is it on the back wall?
No, I think you got it. You got it the first time.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching the show. I hope you enjoyed it. We enjoyed having you here, and we love you.
We do.
Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/the Dungeoncast. You can get episodes of this show 1 week early for like $5. It's chill as hell.
And ad free.
There are no ads in them.
Yeah,
And-
you get other stuff too, not just that.
Yeah, and like you could read along with the episode notes.
Yeah, we got notes. Also, all the characters we get on the show, all these character sheets are there as well.
Yeah,
if you want to
sorry
use
for
them.
all my choppy character sheet
Yeah.
creation.
If you want NPCs, or if you want to play one of our crazy characters.
Yeah, they're there. I mean, we definitely put the stats in. Will's a point by guy. I've been the standard array man myself.
Yeah, I'm a point by person for sure.
But we do like equip the magic items on there and stuff that we talk about. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, patreon.com/the Dungeoncast. Lots of actual play stuff. We've been talking about it quite a bit. So, we don't want to barrel anybody's door down about it. So if you don't got that good sweet cash that you can spare for us boys over here, that's totally cool. We totally get it. No pressure. But you could leave an iTunes review.
Indeed, you could.
Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah.
Have you
Also,
ever thought about,
it's Apple Podcasts now.
have you ever thought about leaving an Apple Podcast review? Maybe you left an iTunes review. Now you need to leave an Apple Podcast review.
Yes.
Maybe you thought you left an iTunes review and now it's Apple Podcasts and now's your chance.
Mm-hmm.
Get in there and do some whatever the opposite of damage is. Heal us? We don't need heals.
We need buffs. Buff us.
Buff our podcast algorithm with 5-star spells.
Absolutely.
And write something sweet. And I'll, when that email comes in and tells me I got some reviews, I'll give it a sweet kiss on my phone. Mwah. Delicious. Amouche bouche. If you want to leave us those reviews, that's cool. If you're watching on YouTube, you can hit the subscribe, like, leave a comment. That stuff's super helpful for YouTube. Also, if you're like coming in on YouTube and you made it to this part of the show, thanks a lot. If you're new here, you got a lot to do. Go in that catalog. Go to that back catalog. See what there is to see. I bet you'll like it.
There's like almost 300 episodes.
Yeah, it's super awesome. We've had a great time doing it. Do you want to check us out on social media? You can do that. We have a Discord also where there are several very epic individuals, I would call them, legendary listeners who have transcended into podcasthood at this point. So you can check that out. There's a lot of great community discussion going on, not only about this show, but about Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop role-playing games in general. That's ttrpgs for those of you who are not in the know. You could also spread the word. That's probably one of the best things that you could do, is just to tell somebody that this show exists and that they'll fucking love it. They'll love it so much. They'll want to take people from their legs and stretch them.
Oh, God.
Just rip them apart.
Not again.
Every episode.
Why is it always like this?
Every single one. Did I miss anything?
No, I think you got it all.
Merch shop?
Oh, we do have one. Yes.
Yeah, check it out.
Links in the description.
You want Dungeoncast stuff? I think Will's been rocking a Super Quest Saga t-shirt for this whole thing. You
I
can check
have.
that show out too. It's about to end, but it will live on forever in our hearts. And we're going to continue that feed.
Yeah, there'll be a new campaign.
Yep, there will be a new campaign. But yeah, Super Quest Saga is super fucking cool. And so are we, and so are you. Thanks a lot for listening to the show. We'll catch you guys next time. Let's call it a game.
We'll call it a game. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
The Dungeoncast.
This episode of the Dungeoncast is brought to you by Hit Point Press and Humblewood Tales, live on Kickstarter. Humblewood Tales is a companion book by the Humblewood campaign setting for 5th edition, featuring expanded lore around the mystical tree city of Alderheart. Gather your party and embark on 5 new Humblewood adventures for levels 3 through 8, where you'll encounter pirate mercenaries, face off against the Slime King, take on the Amaranthine Kren in a nightmarish dreamscape, and much more. With over 200 pages of new content that's fully compatible with all your 5e games, including pre-made characters, a full bestiary, myriads of new magic items, and more. There's plenty of thrills to be had for both new and seasoned Humblewood adventurers. Humblewood Tales is available as a book, box set, and a Kickstarter-exclusive collector's edition. What tales will you tell? Check out Humblewood Tales today by visiting dc.humblewoodtales.com. The DC stands for Dungeoncast. Or click the link in the description below. This episode of the Dungeoncast was brought to you by Hit Point Press and Humblewood Tales, live on Kickstarter.